What's up, YouTube? It's TF Collector, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series number 42 Voyager class Constructicon Long Haul from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And before we take a look at the figure, we will of course take a look at the packaging that he does come in. On the front, you have a nice picture of Long Haul, number 42 of Studio Series. There's his name and his faction. Revenge of the Fallen, 8-up Hasbro, Transformers, Generations, Takara Tomy logos there. On this side, a nice profile image of Long Haul. He is 42 of Studio Series. He is a Voyager class. On this side, a nice profile of Devastator and the Devastator logo there. Authentic. On the back of the packaging, he is big screen inspired from Revenge of the Fallen. Long Haul. Pyramid Desert battle scene. And there you have some nice pictures of the figure. Transforms in 21 steps. Constructicon Long Haul combines with his comrades to form Constructicon Devastator. Backdrop included. We'll take a look at that at the end of the video. Other available figures that I do not own these many years later. I just never had a desire to get that one for some reason. Hasbro there on the bottom, barcode on the top, Revenge of the Fallen. And one last thing before we talk about Long Haul himself. He does of course include his instruction manual with a picture of the figure there. Revenge of the Fallen, Voyager class, Transformers Generations 8 and up, 42 Studio Series, Long Haul. On the back you have more instruction. And now moving to the figure that comes in the box, here is Long Haul as he appears in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And I think this is a really well done figure. Really enjoy this figure. But let's go ahead and take a look at the closer details. So you can see on the front you have some nice black going on there. Of course, all this green just covering the figure. Very accurate to the movie color. Some ladders and whatnot going on through here. Nice green on the wheels. The wheels do all spin nicely. Nice black stripe down the side there. You do have blue used on these windshields. Nice silver there. Some more black going on. On the back, you have this nice little piece here that kind of brings everything together. But overall, looks pretty good. Some nice molded details up in there and whatnot. Now, the top, yeah, this is the worst view of the entire figure, probably, in any mode. Just these hands hanging out here. Really wish there could have been a panel or something to cover that. Really, my only qualm with the alt mode is that the hands are right here because those are just grrr. But on the bottom, you can see everything is going to work out like a normal Transformer would. But yeah, those hands there are a little bit annoying. And as far as accessories go, nothing. What you see is what you get in the box. Long Haul comes with 0 accessories. And one more thing to mention, just in case you're wondering, no, you cannot take the dump truck and go up and down and dump things out. It doesn't move. Sorry. But for some comparisons with Long Haul, first here he is with Studio Series 41 scrap metal. So you can see how the team is kind of coming together so far. With Rampage, number 37, who I assume you could kind of consider part of the team if you want to, even though Skipjack is more accurate to the movie. So that's who I personally use for my Devastator. And last but not least, with Studio Series 13 Megatron, so you can see how Long Haul scales with the leader of the Decepticons. But that is about all I have to say for the alt mode here. Overall, I think it looks pretty good, other than the hands going on up top. That is a bit annoying. But we are now going to transform this guy into combine mode. So the first thing we need to do is we need to separate this piece from this piece, which is very hard to do because they are just very tight connections. But you kind of just have to wiggle and wiggle and wiggle and hope that something comes undone, which is probably not going to happen with the strength that I'm able to use with the camera. So let me undo those on both sides real quick. And now you can see how that looks. You can see just separate those two pieces from there. Basically, these two little pieces just go up in there. One of them actually tabs in and the other one just rests in there. Now, this does also tab in right here, but those will come undone while you're untabbing everything else. So we can continue with the transformation into combine mode. So basically, what we're going to want to do is come here and just untab this piece, get it up and out of the way. Come here, and basically this whole front section is going to pop up. So this all tabs in a certain way. This all tabs in, and we need to lift it you can kind of see the crevice right there. You kind of need to get your finger in there. Just separate. There we go. You can see those two tabs just go up in there, and we just need to get those out of the way. Now, while we're rotating this piece up, you have to bring these pieces out so it will rotate all the way up. So basically, just as you rotate this up, bring these pieces around so that the silver is now facing forward here, and just keep bringing those pieces all the way up like so. And now what we can do is we can come under here and extend these pieces like that, and do the same thing on the other side. Now you do want to make sure the hands stay tabbed into place. They kind of grip over top of these little pegs, so make sure those stay in place. But you're basically just going to rotate this section 180, get it around that wheel, and now you can see there's a new tab there that will go into the slot that is in that piece. So just push that in. Same thing on the other side, rotate it around, push it all in, just tab that all in like so. And there you have most of the leg done. The last thing to do, as long as you have this piece down like that, kind of serves as a heel spur, which is nice, is to just untab these wheels and bring them around. Now, I haven't found a way to tab them in combine mode. I think you kind of just rest them here. So I think we're done. I can't figure out a way to tab them in. So as far as I know, we're done. And there you have the right leg of Devastator. And just taking a quick closer look at long haul in combined mode, you can see mostly just a big green chunk of leg, but you do have some nice details all throughout. Some more details up in here that we've already seen in alt mode, but overall, not a lot to say. He is just a leg, but I'll give you a 360 so you can see all the different sides. There's that angle if you care, and there's the bottom angle if you care. But overall, he's just a leg, and yeah, he does leg things. He can rotate and articulate, and we'll talk more about that when we do the Devastator video. But there is long haul as a leg. But with that being said, let's go ahead and transform long haul into robot mode, my personal favorite of the three modes. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to want to do is you do have to untab these pieces here. Just get them out of the way. I kind of like to bring them down just to get them out of my way for now. This whole piece is going to rotate back eventually, but now you just want to bring the legs back down and bring these pieces back forward where they started in alt mode. So just bring those forward like so. You can untab the legs. They just tab in down here and rotate so that the wheel is in the back, and you can bring the feet down. Make sure they come all the way down. That way he has stability, and then you can bring the wheels back out to the side, and those will tab into place. Just bring this one back out, tab it into place, and there you have his legs all done. Now we will come back here and work on this section. So make sure you untab these hands from these little pegs that I mentioned that they were gripping onto earlier, and now we will work on the upper body. So you want to get this piece back up like so. This green piece here, you want it facing like that. And now what you're going to do is just swing this wheel back as you swing this entire section that the arm is on out. So just swing this back and swing this entire section out, and it will tab in up in here. So just bring it up, and everything should hopefully line up and tab in arm. There we go. And then you can probably see this better from the back angle. That little tab there will go into that little notch right there on the wheel. So just notch that in like so. And now we just need to get everything oriented properly. Rotate so the silver is facing forward. Rotate the elbow so it is oriented properly. Come here to this piece, shift it downward, fold it in, rotate it around so that the two pieces here are facing forward, and push it in to tab it into place. And there you have one arm all done. We will do the same thing on the other side, of course. Start to rotate this wheel back so that you can bring the arm up, and it should snap into place. Snap that wheel into place there. Rotate the arm so that the silver part is facing forward. This side likes to fight with me for some reason. But rotate the arm so that the silver is facing forward with the elbow properly oriented. Press down, bring in, rotate 180, tab into the arm, and there you have his arms all done. Now to finish up the back, we are basically just going to bring it up, fold it over, and you see that little tab will go into a slot right there. Just tab that in to hold everything into place, and the rest of it will just rest there against his back, like so. And the last thing to do is just rotate his head 180 degrees, which can be a little difficult to do. But once you get it done, there you have Long Haul in his beautiful looking robot mode. And yes, here in robot mode, this guy looks phenomenal. Just overall, a really, really good looking robot mode. But coming in close on the details, you can see that head sculpt there is absolutely beautiful, nearly perfect to what we see in the movie. Nice red on the eyes with the green and the gunmetal gray, and just throughout some beautiful paint. I often have complaints about Studio Series paint jobs, not with this figure. You can see just nice details, nice silver used throughout, some more black down the leg, just overall detailed immaculately. Here you go with some more silver. Overall, just such a good looking robot mode. Backpack wise, he does have a bit of a backpack, but when the front profile looks this great, I am not going to spend time complaining about a little bit of a backpack. Now, when it comes to articulation, this is my only minor complaint with this figure. He is limited in some of his articulation. The head can look up, it can kind of look down, it can rotate a full 360, but I'm just going to show a little bit of it. But it can do the full 360 if you need it to. The arms kind of bump into these tires. Now you can kind of finesse it and maybe get a full 360 out of your shoulder joint there, but I don't want to risk breaking anything. But you could get the 360 if the wheel wasn't in the way, but the wheel's in the way, so good luck. But in and out, once again, you're going to hit that wheel. If you bend the forearm, you can get it up a little higher, but it does go in and out. You do get a swivel right there at the bicep. You get little over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist. You do have a waist swivel on a ratchet due to him being the leg of Devastator, so that's very nice. His legs, also on ratchets, can kick forward all the way up pretty much. Pretty good movement there. Backward, not quite as much. Outward, you can get close to a split, not quite though. You do get rotation above the knee. You get a knee bend of about 90 degrees. And as far as the feet go, you can pivot the toe up due to transformation, and you do get ankle tilt. So overall, still very good articulation. Just wish he could move a little bit more and have wrist articulation, but due to the design, I can see why that would have been hard to incorporate into this figure. And once again, for accessories, he doesn't have any. What you see is what you get. I guess you can kind of count these as missile launcher weapons sticking out there. If you want him to have weapons, you can count that, but he does not come with any accessories. And for some robot mode comparisons, first here he is with Studio Series 13, Voyager Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, if I can get him to stand. So you can see how he scales with the leader of the Decepticons. With Studio Series 37 Rampage and 41 Scrap Metal, so you can see how the Studio Series Devastator Revenge of the Fallen Constructicons are coming along so far, and I think they're looking really, really good so far. And last but certainly not least, here is Long Haul with a CG image of how he appeared in Revenge of the Fallen. And as you can see, like I previously said, they did a great job with this robot mode, nearly identical to what we saw on the screen. And the last thing that we get to talk about, if we sit Long Haul off to the side, is the display base that has now sadly been discontinued in Studio Series, but used to be a great inclusion. As you can see, 42 Studio Series, Revenge of the Fallen, Authentic, Transformers. Hey, there's Devastator, Generations, and there's all the pyramids in Egypt, and you can plop Long Haul down right there. And if you have room in your collection, that makes for an awesome display option, as always. So that is my review for the Transformers Studio Series 42 Voyager class Constructicon Long Haul from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And overall, this is a really, really well done figure. Overall, nearly perfect. The robot mode looks awesome. The alt mode looks awesome. And of course, he can form with the other Constructicons to make Devastator, which is probably the best part of this figure, because that Revenge of the Fallen Studio series. Devastator is absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to get to review him here in the future on this channel. But as for Long Haul, great figure, immaculate detailing. You hardly ever see this much paint on a Studio Series figure. Articulation is also really good. Just wish he could move around a little more, but due to the design of the character, that was probably hard to incorporate into the figure, so I'll give him a sort of pass for that. Overall, a very well done figure. Probably the best Constructicon we get out of these Revenge of the Fallen Studio Series Devastator Constructicons, but he does have a little bit of competition. I think he's probably the best, though. So if I had to rate this Long Haul on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give him a near perfect 9.5 out of 10. I think he is really, really good. Not quite to that perfect mark, though. Not quite a figure I consider legendary, but a very good figure. So I'll give him a 9.5 out of 10. Really enjoy this figure. I know these Constructicons go for crazy prices on the aftermarket these days, but if you can find a way to get these figures on your hands, definitely do some. In your hands, definitely do so. English. Anyways, I can barely talk now. I've been talking so long. So that's my review for Long Haul. He gets a 9.5 out of 10 from me. Definitely recommend him. Don't forget, never sacrifice the things you love for the approval of others. I'll be back soon with more reviews. Apologies for the lack of reviews. College is crazy. But until then, roll out. Peace.